everything that we've spoken about here today, everything that we know about the world is filtered through the human brain, right?
Yeah.
So when we talk about quantum mechanics and general relativity, we're talking about, we look out at the world, we process it through this particular conscious state, and using that, we're able to come up with ideas that explain things that we observe. But there are other states of consciousness. I mean, ultimately, I think that we create, I mean, I believe there's a real external reality, but we create our own narratives about that reality. And if with some additional substances, we can modify or enhance or enlarge the kinds of narratives that we're able to tell, the kinds of coherent stories that we're able to overlay on our experience, I think that's a vital thing. And if psychedelics can help us get to that place, I think that's a vital role that they can play. When people hear me espouse my view that all we are particles governed by physical law, a number of people who have had psychedelic experiences contact me and say, I've got proof that's not right. And of course, they'll communicate some kind of experience they've had under the influence of some kind of psychoactive substance. And it's interesting because, you know, I usually don't respond, but on occasion I felt the need to respond. And it all comes down to, do you view what happens during a psychoactive experience as tapping into some other deeper reality, or do you view it again as just some product of this amazing thing inside of our head when it is influenced in an unusual way by some kind of psychoactive substance? And to me, it just seems dead obvious that there's nothing beyond the particles and the laws. And if you change the particles, keep the laws the same, the experience is going to be a little bit different. And you're going to enter into a space that's unfamiliar, maybe terrifying if it's a bad trip, maybe thrilling if it opens up some unification of reality and you feel one with the cosmos. Fantastic. But to me, that's the miracle of the brain as opposed to tapping into some other kind of reality. And I guess that's the sticking point for people who think that there's got to be something more than this physicalist perspective of stuff and law. So what do we do as physicists? We tell one particular story of the world at the level of particles and laws. The chemist comes along and takes our understanding and builds molecules and atoms from it. The biologist comes and takes those structures and builds cells and living systems and that kind of domain. And then ultimately you get up to the neuroscientist who studies the brain and the philosopher who's trying to seek meaning that the brain is striving for and so forth. What it all amounts to is a variety of stories that discuss distinct qualities of the world. And the richest experience you get is from layering all those stories on top of one another so you can see the biggest possible narrative of all. Now, if these kind of psychoactive substances can give you new stories that you wouldn't have access to through the traditional means, the academic means of, say, of science, or through the philosophical means or artistic forays, if these psychoactive substances can bring in a new narrative, how wonderful could that be for all of us to be able to layer an additional story or multiple stories upon our understanding of the world?